Hello, okay, and how about a look in the bathroom, in the downstairs toilet? This is the pre-hibernation lobby, you could say. Okay, so that's two Lasius niger tubs and tubes setups with that Exoterra stone soil. I'll show you what it looks like. These are ones that are not going into hibernation. They've got the same setups. I'll show you. Light here, is it? Quite a healthy colony in there, Lasius niger, and that's another much bigger test tube. One of the problems I've had is that I got these silly small test tubes, and they've done better in those than they have in the normal size ones. Every colony, well, not every colony, as I'll tell you in a minute, but generally speaking, they like those small test tubes, but there's no way it's got enough water for the whole winter. So that's why I've done that. That's basically how I selected the colonies that are going to be kept for out of hibernation or in hibernation. Same size test tube, same roughly size amount of workers and all that. But these two have got least water, and I don't think they'd make it. So that's the same thing. One's got a lot more Exoterra in than the other, just in case they do anything interesting with it. I know you're not really supposed to do that, but it was more fun. These. If there's any in there anymore, this is a weird tiny ant I've not really been able to identify. I snapped that bit of wood off with all the moss on and had it in my hand with, it's all changed colour now, moss and stuff that went into this enclosure. This did look nice and green originally. I'll talk about it in a minute. This has stayed green though, it looks good. Had these, and these little tiny ants. At the time I had Fidoli ants, Fidoli padula or whatever they are. That's what I had, and these were about 0.5 millimetre bigger, very browny. I've got some close-ups and videos of them, but they were brown and they had sort of stripes on the back. Quite cool little ants, but I thought they'd all died out 3 times. So I thought they'd all died. I was feeding them and trying to look after them and everything, and I found loads of dead ones. They just can't, even droplets of water will kill them, so you can't even spray it in there properly. You have to like dry it out. A normal droplet of water, they'll walk out and just die. So I'm a bit kind of crappy in that way. And then, I tried to identify them on the internet. I sent pictures off to the ant lady actually, or something like. No, not the ant lady. Miriam's ant nest, I think it is. Miriam's, that's it. It's like a web page. I sent pictures off to her. Anyway, nobody's come up with a definitive thing. I did find what I thought it could be one of 2 of. Yeah, I know where they are, and so I thought they'd all died out, and I didn't see any for months. And then I put this in a different part in the kitchen, sort of where it catches the sun, on a shelf right next to the back door. And all of a sudden, it was full of all these tiny elates. And I've not been looking after them. The water was almost dried up. Must have been about 30, 40 elates flying around in there. And they were all in there, still alive, and all the rest of it. So I fed them again, looked after them again. Then they died again, or it appeared that they were all dead. I thought, oh no, it's got too hot or something. I even used that enclosure to put these massive ants that I found, and I caught one, brought it back. I thought I was collecting Lasius niger's queen, and this thing was running around, and I grabbed it thinking it was a queen originally, but it jumped in it. I put it in a thing full of about 4, and it killed one queen immediately. Just jumped on her, and I think that's what it was doing. It was out trying to kill queens. I've still not worked out the mystery of these big ants. They look like Camponotus parius, because I had some of them around that time. They actually look exactly the same, like giant Lasius nigers, but not like a queen. They look like a normal ant. I've found them in 3 different places now, in the place where I live. I've got no idea what they are. You often see them with Lasius niger or around them, and I nearly caught a queen of it. It looked like a giant, looked more like a black wasp than a queen ant. I saw it. I had to run back to the van to get something to put it in. It'd gone by the time I got back. So it might not have even been a queen, but that was in the place where I've seen the most of them. Anyway, that's another story if I catch one. That's the lazy queen in the back there. Can't really see it at the moment. I've cleaned her and fed her and all that. Laid a few eggs, seemed to have eaten them. Laid a few more eggs, seems to have eaten them. Doesn't seem to know what she's doing. Should have let her go really. She's obviously a rubbish queen, but I just did that instead, put her in there. Don't buy a small little nest like that. Like crap, pathetic. I just happened to own that before I knew any better. It's connected with a piece of tube and then one of those mini test tubes, and it just slides onto the tube as well. That's one good thing about them, actually. They do slide straight on 10mm. It's 10mm tubing I use. Yeah, and this enclosure down here, I can't really show you that well because everything's on top of it. That's grout at the bottom, and at the back that is air dry clay. And if I flick this around, that whole thing is an ant nest that I've made, all shaped and all that. There's a little red hole you can see there because it's got a red filter on the back, and it's got a moisture system over here with a bit you can fill up on the top. You just see that straw sticking through, and a moisture thing. And it's not got any ants in. The only ants it's ever had in it was Campanodus prius, and they died very easily. I spent 30 quid on about, I don't know, 8 workers and a queen, or more than that. Thought I'm going to go all out, put them in this, got it all set up really, really nice, got the heating right, everything right in it, humidity. And they were happy for about, I don't know, well, certainly for the first few days, and then maybe for a week or so they were still going around, then they just started dying off. And this is my grout outworld, do not do it opinion. So I haven't dared put any more ants in. These have got my daughter's toads in at the moment. I don't even see any. I'm probably scared off at the moment. There's 3 little toads in there. There's one at the top there. I can only keep them because I've got stocks of fruit flies. That's all they'll eat. Anyway, that's another story. But that's an ant thing. I don't dare put any ants in it because it could be that the grout killed them or something in there killed them. But then all my colonies ended up dying one way or another, and the only thing they had in common was grouted enclosures. And I did everything. The Fidoli ones died out. I'm testing that enclosure upstairs. That'll be another video maybe tomorrow. It's quite a nice nest and everything, but I grouted it and thought I was doing a really good thing. And the Fidolis lasted about, I don't know, 5 months. Ups and downs with them. I wish I hadn't bothered to hibernate them at all. It definitely didn't help. I don't know. I could go into that more. It didn't really work. I was trying to hibernate them on this windowsill, which was hovering around 15 to 17. So they would slow down, but they were always eating. So I don't know what happened. Anyway, I think the grouted outworlds are a bad idea. Don't ever do it. And I've never found videos on YouTube of people who grouted them who do like long-term care videos where they, then show the same outworld connected or anything. You just don't see it. And there's a lot of these YouTubers do grout them, and I think it's definitely a bad place to go. Don't grout. There's nothing is sold for ants, and I've asked the questions on forums and all over the place, and nobody can come up and say, "Oh, this brand is fine for ants." Nobody can ever say that. It's just, "Oh, just use tile grout." I think there might be something you can get from like a craft shop. I wouldn't even necessarily trust that. I think it slowly poisons them after about sort of 3-4 months. Whatever you put in, that's my opinion at the moment. And I'm testing it out with Lazius niger colony and the other one. And I've got another outworld that's grouted, so an Antboy UK outworld. So I'm going to connect up another Lazius niger to that or something like that. I think. See if they just die. I'll probably wait till next year now. I don't need it anyway. So it's yeah, don't go grouting. Oh, and down here, so it's called Ants Rambling. That's a box full of queens. I don't know how many's in there. This is a soil experiment with garden soil. I don't need that experiment anymore. This Exoterra stone is just taken over. That's it. And underneath it was the other experiment, which was going to be like builder's sand. See how the two different went, and the difference is unbelievable. Standard builder's sand, they sort of barricaded themselves in and didn't really want to come out and mess about. And then development in the one with the garden sand, double, which are full of workers, and they've like blocked it up with soil, but they're obviously happy in there, really like it. But it started to go mouldy in a corner, and something sprouted, so it can't really stay like that. And they'll be, it could just be it's the best of the queens or whatever I've got. So the 2 bottom tubs and tubes there are both like the 2 I showed you at the top, trying to be identical for this experiment, where these ones are going to go into hibernation, although it doesn't want to get cold. These are going into hibernation, those 2 are not, and then we're going to see what happens. Ant's Hood's thing he's doing, and a few of the other people on there are doing that sort of thing. Experiments on Lazius niger. There we go. So we've got there. So that's a really good colony there, Lazius niger. Most of these are Lazius flavius queens. I'm hoping to get at least 1 colony. I'm not checking them now. They need this. This is tomorrow's job. Sorting through these, seeing if we've got any more casualties or what's going on. Clean them all out. Feed them. make decisions if there is any decisions. I think a lot of the Lazius flavoured queens will be dead now because they haven't been laying eggs or anything. They just happen to have stayed alive for quite a while. I caught them straight off my front garden before they took off. There was just loads of them on my front garden. I've got Lazius flavus in my front garden, and it's like a tree root near the level of the grass. Well, it sticks through the grass. They must like it there for some reason. It is old marshland, I suppose, that my house is built on. I've tried to chop that tree root as well. But anyway, that's where the flaviots are. I went out there and caught a female and a male in every tube and did that. I got about 12. But it's not, I don't think it's really worked other than, yeah, all the males died within about a week. I fished them out. Anyway, that's it. Sort these dog out.